Everyone, thanks for being part of our prayer blast. We've had a great day today, and we're really excited to welcome Jenna Holst. Jenna has been with us just recently. She was part of our Impact Stories Live this summer. Some of you maybe got to hear her share there with a special guest that she brought. It was a really meaningful morning, I thought. So Jenna works with New Life Family Services, which is an organization that is near and dear to my heart. My mother-in-law worked there for many years, long ago, and we learned so much about the organization back in those days when she worked there, and it was so important to her. And so to see it continuing on and new leadership is just great. So Jenna, I'll turn it over to you. You can share a little bit, and thank you for being here. So
awesome. Yes, I'm happy to be here. I'm just going to share my screen so you can have some visuals. One second. Here we go. There it is. It's always good to have some babies to look at. Yeah. All right. So thanks so much for having me. I know that we've partnered with Calvary for around 30 years. So it's just exciting to share. Every time I get to be with you is an honor. And I just know that you've been a part of New Life Story in a lot of different ways. I know you used to host like our birth mother dinners long ago, and you have a youth group that comes every year and delivers items and raises money for us. So it's just fun to be talking with Calvary today. So if you aren't familiar with New Life, I just want to go over what we do. So we've existed since 1973. So for 47 years, we've been supporting and walking with those who are facing unexpected pregnancies and situations just are kind of around that topic. Our mission is to honor the sanctity of human life. And we do that through 3 programs. The first is our Conquerors program, our First Care Pregnancy Centers, and then our New Life Adoptions program. So I'm just going to talk really briefly about each of those programs and try to share some stories along the way. So you can kind of know what's been happening with us. But in our First Care Pregnancy Centers, we have 4 locations currently. So there's a map here where you can see where they all are. We also have our headquarters location, that's actually number 1 down there. And then we also are going to have a future location in South Minneapolis, just 11 blocks from where George Floyd was killed this past May. So we're really excited to be entering that neighborhood hopefully in 2021. Our First Care Pregnancy Centers are kind of the hub of where we do most of our work. That's where we offer all free and confidential services like pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, STD testing and treatment. We do decision-making counseling there. We have social workers that connect our clients with just services that they're needing, like housing and rental assistance, stuff like that. And then our biggest program there is our parenting education program, which is where our clients can come until their youngest child's 5 years old. So some of our clients are in that program for like 10 years, and we get to meet with them twice a month. That is really our opportunity to share the gospel with people in those long-term relationships. Sometimes God gives us doors and like a pregnancy test or an ultrasound to share the gospel, but really in that parenting program is where we get a lot of chances to share the gospel with our clients. So I just want to share one story with you from that program. Every morning, our staff just gathers for prayer and we ask God for just divine appointments. And as clients walk through our doors, we just pray to be ready to share if God gives us an avenue to share our faith. So one of our clients was experiencing just a series of heartbreaking events recently, including homelessness and substance abuse, and she felt compelled to go to one of our First Care Pregnancy Centers. And that day she didn't even know if she would have enough gas to get there, but she just made it, even though her gas tank said 0, which was really cool. She began just sharing her story with one of our staff, and one of our staff just felt like she was really searching for more in her life. Like she was really open. So she kind of asked her about like, what was your faith background? And the client shared that she grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. but faith of any kind was really not a part of her life anymore. But the staff asked if she was interested in just learning more about Jesus and even receiving a Bible. And she immediately said, yes, like, I want to know more about Jesus and about Christianity. So the staff just read John 3:16 with her and explained God's hope and gift of salvation. And after further conversation, the client was asked if she wanted to pray and dedicate her life to Jesus, and she said yes. So after praying with her, she just said, like, I've never been prayed for like this before. I feel so different. So she accepted the Lord that day, received a Bible and a devotional book, and then we connected her with a local church. And then just recently, she came back and told us that she met with her pastor and decided to dedicate her child. So our staff just was so super encouraged by that story, and just being able to see the fruit of kind of these relationships that God provides for us to have with our clients. So kind of a cool story from one of our pregnancy centers. Our next program is our Conquerors program, and this is our post-abortion program. So I just want to share a couple reasons why this program exists and kind of why I feel like it's so important to talk about. So the statistic is that 1 in 4 women will have an abortion by age 45, which kind of stuns me. So that's 25%. It's really changed the way that I look at a room of people, because the statistic is true, and it's not only affecting the woman who's had an abortion, but the man who might have been involved, maybe her family that was involved or knew about it. The other reason we do this program is because 9,910 abortions occurred in Minnesota in 2018. That's our most recent statistic that we have. So we just know how many people are out there hurting from past abortions, even in the recent years. Here's just some other statistics that I find really interesting. 43% of women were attending a Christian church at least once a month at the time of their abortion. So that really shocks me too, to think about, out of those 1 in 4 women, almost half of them were attending church at that time. And then here's the final kind of church-related statistic. Only 7% of women say they discussed pregnancy options with someone at their church, and 8% didn't discuss it with anyone. And 76% of women say that their church had no influence on their decision to terminate. So this just, these statistics I didn't know before I started working at New Life, but they really just shock me. So just today, as I have the opportunity to speak with you, I just invite you to be a safe place for people that may be considering abortion. But this also tells me that there's a lot of people that are in our churches that have had abortions. If that's you or you know anyone where that's their story, I just encourage you to connect them with Conquerors. Last night, we had our gala, which we do annually. It's our fundraising event, and we had a woman share her story about her past abortion. And I just encourage you to go watch our gala. You can still watch it kind of after the fact, but her story was just so amazing, and the healing and the freedom that she found through Jesus was really, really moving. So yeah, Conquerors is one of my favorite programs. They meet in small groups or one-on-one settings, and all of the facilitators and mentors in that program are also post-abortive. And that program's kind of exploded in a great way during COVID. They went online in March when everything kind of was shut down. And now they're never going to not have an online group, because our reach just expanded, and we added another group here in the fall than we thought we would. So it's just been kind of a blessing, and more and more women and men are finding healing through this program. Before I talk about adoption, I just want to share some of the things we do to hopefully decrease the number of abortions in our state. These were our statistics from 2019, last year. We're providing over 1,400 pregnancy tests a year to our clients, providing over 451 ultrasounds. I love that we do more than one a day for our clients. We have over 2,000 parenting appointments so that people can know that if they decide to parent, they have support. Over 500 client care appointments took place. Those are kind of the appointments where our social workers will help our clients navigate homelessness, childcare, just those barriers that come in the way of them maybe deciding to parent. And we got to pray with over 1,400 clients last year and facilitated over 1,000 STD tests, which are really cool places to just talk about decisions people are making and just even how their faith is relating to the choices they make. So our final program that we do is New Life Adoptions. New Life Adoptions has been happening since the 80s, and we've facilitated over 800 adoptions. We do domestic infant adoptions, and we just started doing embryo adoptions a couple years ago. 2 of my husband's siblings were actually adopted through New Life, so that's how I initially got connected. But really, to just get a taste of what we do through our New Life Adoptions program, I want to share a video with you. It's one of my favorite videos that we've ever done, and we've titled it Authentic Sacrificial Love. I think our adoptions program just is a really beautiful picture of the gospel on both sides. I see birth parents that we work with who are making just really sacrificial decisions to love, just like Jesus did. And then I see adoptive families adopting and choosing to love a child that isn't their own. And we know in Ephesians that God has done this for us, right? That he's adopted us into his family and called us his own. So I am just going to share that video with you here. And just for some context, before I get it started, this family that's in this video has adopted all 3 of their children through New Life. So they've worked with 3 different birth mothers. So this story shows kind of how all 3 of those birth mothers are connected with this family now. So I'll play this video. Can you hear it? Can you hear the video?
I don't see it yet, but I don't know. I don't see it or hear it, but maybe I just.
Okay.
Is anyone else seeing it?
I don't see it or hear it either.
Okay, so.
Okay, let me try it one more time, okay?
Okay.
Sorry.
We were just stuck on the screen that we had before.
Okay, let me see. Here we go. Okay, do you see it now?
I think I do, yes.
Okay, let me try again. Take 2.
All right.
Can you hear?
I don't hear it. I just see it.
Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. Okay, we might have to skip the video then.
That's too bad. You set it up so well. I was excited to see it.
Maybe here's what I'll do. I'm going to share the link in the chat.
Okay.
And then maybe people can get it from there. Anyway, it's a beautiful story of how this family has just taken in all these children, and not only adopted them into their home, but they've really taken in the birth moms too as part of their family. So just beautiful, beautiful story. I'm really disappointed we can't share it, but I don't know why the sound isn't working.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah, sorry guys. Well, that was gonna be like 10 minutes of my time, so maybe we can move into a Q&A time. Are there any questions that you have?
That sounds good. Yeah. Any questions you want to ask about New Life? Did you tell us about the new? Tell us a little bit more about the new place in South Minneapolis, because where that's at in terms of timing and fundraising.
Yeah.
It's a big piece, right? So.
Yes. Okay, here's the video also. So maybe just pull that up. So our 5th location, we're super excited about it. About 6 years ago, we had a team that just started praying about where do we want to go next. They just started praying through, we really felt like God was leading us to plant another location. And so God kind of started leading us to South Minneapolis and then specifically to the Phillips neighborhood. A couple factors kind of brought us into that neighborhood. One is it was a neighborhood that was really close to an abortion clinic. They also are a neighborhood that have tons of social services, but none of them are pregnancy related. None of them are meeting kind of that parenting support need of kids under the age of 5. So those were some big factors that brought us there. The average household income in that neighborhood is around $27,000, which is just really low. And the average age in the neighborhood is also 35 years old, which is incredibly young. So we just saw there are a lot of factors that we felt like we could meet some of the needs in the neighborhood. The age range always sticks out to me because that means there's just a lot of children probably in the neighborhood. If the average is so low, the average age. And we know that around 40% of women that have abortions already have children. So that was another factor. So we just started looking around for places to rent where we could plant our center. And we just had multiple meetings and things kind of fell through. And so finally, this church reached out to us saying that they were going to sell their building and sell the adjacent house next to their building that they also owned. And we had to really consider if we wanted to buy a property in Minneapolis, but we really felt like God opened this door specifically for us to be on this property. So the property is located right off PV Park, if you know where that is, in the Phillips neighborhood, on the corner of Franklin and Chicago Avenue. And Hope Academy is right down there if you're familiar with them. And it's the busiest bus stop in the state, is right in front of where our building will be. So it really just feels like it's a divine call to that property and that place. So we're really excited about that. So we bought the property in 2019, and then I've been fundraising and making plans with our architect and our builders and just everybody that's involved in the project. And in March of this year, we were supposed to have our meeting with the city to get it approved. And then due to COVID, it got pushed back. But in August, our plans were approved by the city of Minneapolis. So that was really, really exciting for us. It was a really smooth meeting. It actually went online, which we think made it much easier. This building that we're building is our biggest building by far. It's about 12,000 square feet. And we're going to be sharing the space really intentionally with other ministries, social services in the area. And a third of our space is going to be filled by the Community Care Clinics of Minnesota, which is also a nonprofit clinic. And it's run by a Christian family. The clinic right now is also located in the neighborhood, so they're really familiar with the clientele that we'll be serving. They speak over 10 languages in the clinic right now. So we're just thrilled that they're going to be in the same building as us, and they're going to be offering full prenatal care there. So we're just really excited. We're hoping it's a hub for our clients.
That is a great story. I love the partnership pieces to it as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Any other questions that the audience wants to ask while we're together before we pray?
Hi, Jenna.
Hi. Hi,
Remember
Barb.
me?
I do. How are you?
I'm good. I just saw your name on the sheet last night, and I thought, that's got to be the Jenna I know.
Yes. Barb met and mentored me at Bethel when I went there.
Good to see you.
It's really good to see
I got in on this a little bit late. How long have you been with New Life?
I've worked with New Life for 2 years now. So I worked in our pregnancy centers for a year, and now I've been working with churches.
Okay, so exactly what is your position then, Jenna?
Yeah, I'm the church relations coordinator. So I get to meet
Okay.
with pastors, churches, talk to them about what we do, and invite them just to partner with how God's moving in our ministry. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm really thrilled to see that you're with New Life.
Thank
New
you.
Life has a very special place in my heart because it was a wonderful referral that I used for many, many years when I was at Bethel.
Awesome.
And worked with students that were in crisis.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough about the staff that was there for students when they needed help
That's awesome.
beyond what we could provide. So I'm thrilled that you're there.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm
love
sure
it.
you're doing a great job. It's a
Thanks.
great position for you with your gifts.
Thank you. Oh, you're kind.
I applaud you and thank the Lord
Thanks.
for that.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention, Jenna, that I'm on part of the early parts of New Life Family Services because both of my sons were adopted from there.
Oh,
They're
wow.
32 and 35 years old. So I've had wonderful experiences with you all. But so we were
That's
kind
so
of at
cool.
the beginning of all of your process, evidently.
Yeah. Yeah, probably pretty early on there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, New Life must have just been kind of starting and launching at that time, Karen.
Yeah, it was at the beginnings.
Because what year did you adopt? Or what
80
years?
82 and 85. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. 85 and 88. We started the process before that, but
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So we'd only been doing our adoption program for 5 years.
yeah.
That's so cool.
So Jenna, what do your days look like with this partnership that you're doing with churches? Tell us what your days are like.
Well, lately we've really felt God just call us to connect with pastors in the Phillips neighborhood specifically.
Okay.
I still continue meetings with our partnering churches, but we're really just hoping to establish relationship with pastors that have lived in the neighborhood for a long time down in South Minneapolis. Obviously, they've had a really heavy year.
Yes.
So there's just been a lot for us to learn from them as they just have been so faithful to minister in that community for so long. So that's kind of, I've been focusing on meeting with them, touring their churches, touring ministries and social service agencies down in that neighborhood specifically. Yeah, and then I do speaking roles like this. One thing that's really been on our heart for churches lately is just to make sure the Conquerors program is known widely to pastors and church staff. For people in their congregation that are hurting, we're really inviting pastors to speak out on abortion, not avoid the topic, because that can communicate a lot to people if it's a topic that's avoided. So just inviting a lot of pastors to be bold and just share that there's healing and hope if that's part of your story. Yeah, so those are the main things I've been focusing on lately with our church partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Jenna, you could sum up just some prayer requests, not only just for the organization, but also for you personally, and then we can pray for you. That'd be terrific if we could end that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So a couple of things kind of came to mind when I knew I could share some prayer requests today. One of them is we are always just praying that abortion-minded clients would find their way through our doors. That's something we pray daily in our offices. One thing we really experience is that through marketing, most of our marketing is done on Google or Facebook, and it's just really expensive to be kind of the first option when people search on Google. So we always just pray that God would just break through barriers, that our name would stick out to people, that as people schedule abortions or just consider that as an option, that they would find their way to us. So that's always our first request. The second would just be that God would continue to open doors in the Phillips neighborhood in South Minneapolis, that especially as we hope to build and complete our building in 2021. We've just been praying for the right staff to come. So that's a big request, that we want staff that comes from that neighborhood specifically. We want staff that speak multiple languages and just are going to be able to serve the clients that come through that center really well. Yeah, and then just for fundraising for that project, we just have a couple $100,000 left. We've raised so much already. So there's just this last little bit that we have to kind of raise before we can break ground. So those would be kind of the ministry requests. For me, I'm just always asking for help from God to connect me with the right churches, and that He would give me wisdom as I speak with pastors and church staff and ministry leaders. I think especially because it's an election year, this can sometimes be a hard topic or ministry to speak about, and so just always praying for wisdom and boldness as I do that, and just that our services would get out to churches and people in the congregation that are struggling.
All right, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
We'll take a little time to pray with you now. That would be a good way to end our time together. I think maybe I'll ask Karen Larson if you could start off our prayer time, and I'll close and just pray as God leads, and let's just lift Jenna up and the ministry up to the Lord. It's a very important ministry, and we're privileged to partner with you. I mean, we've been partners for how long? Many, many, many years.
For 30 years, I
30
think.
years. It's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think about. So,
Yeah.
all right, Karen, go ahead. We'll get started.
Father, I thank you for New Life Family Services, for the way that they have a heart to reach people from so many different parts of their lives, whether they're considering abortions, helping them afterwards, providing safe homes for these little children. I pray, Father, that you would continue to bless them and give them the encouragement and the finances and everything that they need to continue as we think of the new location that they are putting together, that you would bring the right staff, and that it would be people that would be able to reach their community and really share the positive options that they would have. I pray, Father, that you would continue to be with Jenna. She's got a really tough job connecting with all the different churches and ministries, and continue to guide her and give her your words and your wisdom.
Yes.
Lord, I thank you for Jenna, and just knowing her, the time that I have known her at Bethel. I know her heart for you, and I know that she has probably been very called to this ministry and has been obedient in this calling to New Life. I thank you for her deep love for you as her Lord and her Savior, and that you have led her to this ministry and to a very specific task here, a partnership in complicated communities that are very layered with many, many complexities. And so, Lord, I just pray that Jenna's light and love for you will shine so brightly that as she comes into conversation with so many different people, and especially in the churches of these communities that are very complex, that they would just see abundantly you, Lord. And I know that she wants to shine for you. So I pray that you would just give her abundant wisdom and insight, sensitivity in her conversation and in her communication with a wide variety of people in these communities. And I just pray that you will just give her confidence and boldness, sensibility day by day as she represents this important ministry. And Lord, I also think of just some of these statistics that she put on the screen of how many women have gone through abortions, and how they have not reached out to church communities and to a church family in the midst of a crisis. And that just hurts. It's painful to see those kinds of numbers. And Lord, our churches need to be places of refuge and places that are safe. When people are in crisis and are hurting, Lord, how we just have been so negligent in not being a place of safety. So forgive us, God. Help us to redeem that situation and to do better and to find ways to reach people that are in the depth of crisis and the depth of tremendous pain and hurting. And thank you for a ministry like New Life that wants to just save lives, both babies and also for these mothers and the extended families that are part of these types of situations. So we thank you for the light of this ministry.
Yes. Father, I thank you for a chance that we've had today to come alongside so many of our partners, and to really just to lift them up in prayer and to make connections. And I thank you for New Life and the 30 years that we've partnered as a church with them, and the many people that have been involved and how it's affected so many people even in our own church. And I pray you'll continue just to uphold this ministry, to give them vision. And I pray for the fundraising that's left to do for the Phillips location. It seems like the ideal location, Lord, for this ministry to expand to next. And I thank you for the way you paved the way already, and just built so many new partnerships and connections. And I pray that will continue, and that as Jenna visits with pastors, Lord, that there'll be a wave of support from churches in the area as well to get behind this ministry, and how this can really alter and affect futures for so many people. Lord, I pray that you be with Jenna, especially today. May she just feel your encouragement. Lord, continue to strengthen her for the ministry, and give her encouragement and joy in serving you. Lord, thank you for the partnership that we have with her. And I just pray you'll bless her marriage, bless her family and her friends. Just watch over her now. And thank you for the time we've had together to share with her today. Pray all this in your name. Amen.
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 Thanks to each of you for joining.
Good to see you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us record this today too. I really appreciate that. So.